Welcome to my channel, the world of science fiction. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
The dropship hit the canyon wall at terminal velocity. Metal screamed. The hull folded inward like aluminum foil crushed in a fist. Ryan Hale's harness snapped, and he tumbled sideways, skull cracking against something hard. His vision went white, then red, then dark. The world became noise, shrieking hydraulics, the groan of bending steel, the hiss of ruptured fuel lines. Then silence. He tasted copper. His left ear rang with a high, endless whine. Smoke filled his lungs and he choked, coughing until his ribs ached. His fingers found the deck plating, still warm from re-entry. He dragged himself forward on his elbows, vision swimming. The cargo bay had split open like a gutted animal. Daylight poured through a jagged tear in the hull. Beyond it, red rock, thin air, the smell of something alien and burnt. This planet had no name in his mission brief. Just coordinates. Just another forgotten edge of the frontier. Ryan crawled toward the light, boots scraping metal. That's when he heard it. A low growl. Wet. Furious. He stopped, turned his head. In the shadows near the starboard bulkhead, something moved. No. Someone. A figure pinned beneath a collapsed support beam, blue-skinned and massive, easily 7 feet tall. The growl came again, deeper this time, more warning than pain. Ryan blinked blood out of his eyes and focused. The figure was female. Her skin was the color of deep ocean water, marked with pale scars that ran like rivers across her bare shoulders. She wore leather armor, scorched and torn, and her hair was shaved close on one side, longer on the other, matted with ash. Her eyes, bright amber, almost glowing in the dim light, locked onto him with the intensity of a predator deciding whether to attack or retreat. Between her body and the beam lay a spear. No, the remains of a spear. The shaft was snapped cleanly in two, the break fresh and jagged. The weapon had been beautiful once. Dark wood carved with intricate symbols, the blade forged from some kind of blackened metal that didn't reflect light. Now it was garbage. Useless. The warrior's hand moved slowly, trying to cover the broken pieces. Ryan saw it. The shame. Just for a second, before her face hardened into stone. He pushed himself upright. His legs shook but held. He stepped toward her, wiping blood from his mouth. "Don't move," he said. His voice came out rougher than he intended. "That beam's crushing your ribs." She didn't respond. Her breathing was shallow, controlled. Her hand stayed over the spear fragments, fingers curled protectively. Ryan approached the beam. It was at least 300 pounds of reinforced steel, pinning her from hip to shoulder. He crouched, getting his hands underneath. The growl returned, louder. "Touch my spear again, off-worlder," she said, her voice like grinding stone, "and I rip your throat." Her accent was thick, shaped by a language that used clicks and hisses his translator implant couldn't quite parse, but the meaning was clear enough. Ryan looked at her, at the beam crushing her chest, at the broken weapon she was trying to hide. "Yeah, well," he said, "you're going to need both hands for that." He lifted. The beam weighed more than he thought. His shoulders screamed. His vision tunneled. But he got it high enough, just barely, and shoved it sideways. It crashed to the deck with a sound like a gong. The warrior's scream tore through the hull. She convulsed, her back arching, then collapsed flat again. Her breath came in ragged gasps. Blood seeped from beneath her armor, dark and viscous, wrong somehow. Not red, deeper. Ryan dropped to one knee beside her, hands hovering, unsure where to touch without making it worse. "Easy," he said. "Easy. Where's it broken?" She shoved his hands away with shocking strength, despite the agony written across her face. Her teeth, sharper than human, canines pronounced, were bared. "Do not," she hissed, "touch me. You're hurt. I am alive. Barely." She tried to sit up, failed. Her left leg buckled beneath her, and she collapsed again, gasping. This time the sound that escaped her throat was closer to a whimper. She hated herself for it. Ryan could see that much. He glanced at the leg. The knee was swelling rapidly, already twice its normal size. Dislocated maybe, or fractured. Either way, she wasn't walking out of here. "What's your name?" he asked. She glared at him. "I'm Ryan." "Nothing," just that amber stare burning through him. Okay, he said. Fine, don't tell me, but I'm not leaving you here to bleed out. A chief does not accept help, she said, each word forced through clenched teeth. A broken chief dies. Ryan blinked. A chief? You mean like, do not touch the spear. He looked down. His boot was inches from the broken fragments. He took a step back, hands raised. All right, I won't touch it, but we need to move. This hull's compromised, and I'm pretty sure I smell fuel. She wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on the spear. The two halves lay side by side, perfectly aligned, as if she could will them back together through sheer force of concentration. Ryan followed her gaze. The carvings on the shaft were more than decorative. They told a story, or maybe recorded one. Symbols stacked on symbols, layered meanings he couldn't parse. Near the break, one marking stood out, 3 parallel lines intersecting a circle. It repeated every few inches, always in the same position. That means something, he said. Doesn't it? She said nothing. It's important. Still nothing. You want to die over a stick? The look she gave him could have melted steel. That stick, she said, her voice dropping to something quieter and infinitely more dangerous, carries 30 generations. Without it, I am nothing. Ryan felt the weight of that sentence settle into his chest. He looked at her, really looked, at the scars, at the way she held herself, even now, even broken and bleeding, at the broken spear lying between them like a corpse. He reached down and picked up the 2 pieces. She made a sound like a wounded animal. I said, don't. Relax, Ryan said. I'm not stealing it. He held up the pieces, examining the break. Clean, almost surgical. The impact must have hit it at exactly the right angle to snap it without splintering. Lucky. Unlucky, depending on how you looked at it. Can it be repaired? He asked. No. Why not? Because, she said, and her voice cracked just slightly, the binding is sacred. It cannot be undone. It cannot be remade. But it's just wood and metal. It is lineage. It is rank. It is the only proof that I have the right to lead. Ryan looked at the spear, then at her leg, then at the gash in the hull where smoke was still pouring out in thin gray streams. Well, he said, then you're stuck with me until we fix nothing. Her glare intensified, but underneath it, something else flickered. Confusion, maybe even curiosity. You are insane, she said. Probably. You will die here. Maybe. I will not mourn you. I don't need you to. She tried to push herself up again. This time she made it halfway before her leg gave out entirely, and she collapsed with a grunt that was half pain, half rage. Ryan caught her before she hit the deck. She froze. They stayed like that for 3 seconds. His hands under her shoulders, her weight against his chest, her breath warm against his neck. She smelled like smoke and something sharper. Leather, maybe, or whatever they used to cure that armor. Then she shoved him away hard enough that he stumbled backward. Do not, she said, ever touch me without permission. Noted. She glared at him. He stared back. Then from outside the hull, echoing across the canyon, war horns. Deep, resonant. 3 long blasts, then silence. The warrior's entire body went rigid. They found us, she whispered. Who? My clan. Ryan listened. The horns sounded again, closer now. He moved to the hull breach and peered outside. The dropship had crashed into a narrow canyon, walls rising sheer on both sides. Red rock, stratified and ancient, carved by wind and time into something that looked almost organic. The sky above was a pale, sickly green. Wrong, but not wrong enough to be immediately threatening. At the far end of the canyon, maybe half a kilometer away, movement. Figures on foot, moving fast. How many? The warrior asked. Can't tell. 10, maybe more. She closed her eyes. Then we are already dead. What are you talking about? They're your people, right? They'll help. No. Why not? She opened her eyes, looked at him with something that might have been pity. Because they will see me weak, she said. They will see the spear broken, and they will challenge. Challenge what? My right to lead. The horns sounded again. Closer. Maybe 300 meters now. Ryan looked at the broken spear in his hands. at the warrior's shattered leg, at the hull around them, groaning as it settled deeper into the canyon wall. "So we hide," he said. "I cannot walk. So I carry you. You cannot." He didn't let her finish. He grabbed her under the arms and hauled her upright. She was heavy, denser than a human, muscle packed tight under that blue skin. But adrenaline did most of the work. She hissed in pain but didn't scream. He adjusted his grip, getting her weight balanced. "Where?" he asked. She pointed. "The cliffside. There are hollows, caves worn by wind." "How far?" 50 meters. He looked outside. The canyon floor was exposed, open. If her clan was moving fast, they'd see them before they reached cover. "We'll have to risk it," he said. She said nothing. But when he started moving, limping toward the hull breach with her weight draped across his shoulders, she didn't fight him. They stumbled out into the thin air, and Ryan immediately regretted every decision that had led to this moment. The gravity was wrong, lighter than Earth, but not by much, just enough to make each step feel floaty, disconnected. The air burned his lungs. Too much oxygen, maybe, or some trace element his body didn't recognize. His vision swam. The warrior's breath was ragged in his ear. "Faster," she whispered. He tried. His boots slipped on loose scree. He caught himself, kept moving. The cliff face rose ahead, pockmarked with shadows that might be caves or might just be erosion. 50 meters felt like 500. Behind them, voices, shouting in that clicking, hissing language. The warriors had reached the crash site. Ryan pushed harder. His legs screamed. His back threatened to give out. But he made it. He stumbled into a narrow hollow carved into the cliff face, just deep enough to hide them from view, and collapsed. The warrior rolled off him, gasping. They lay there in the darkness, breathing hard, listening. Footsteps. Dozens of them. Moving around the hull, investigating. Voices calling out. Questions maybe, or commands. Ryan couldn't tell. He rolled onto his side, looking at the warrior. She was staring at the cave entrance, amber eyes unblinking. "They'll search," she whispered. "How long do we have?" "Minutes, maybe less." Ryan pushed himself up. His hands were shaking. He looked at her leg. The swelling had gotten worse, the skin around her knee turning a darker shade of blue-purple. "I need to splint that," he said. "No time. If you can't walk when they find us, we're dead anyway." She glared at him, but she didn't argue. Ryan pulled off his jacket and tore it into strips. The fabric was tough, reinforced for re-entry burns, but it shredded if he pulled hard enough. He grabbed the broken spear halves and held them up. "I'm going to use these," he said. Her breath caught. "I'll give them back," he said. "I promise." She watched him, every muscle in her body tense. He positioned the spear halves on either side of her leg, using them as stabilizers, then wrapped the fabric strips around them and her shin, pulling tight. She bit down on her lip hard enough to draw blood, but didn't make a sound. When he finished, the splint looked crude but functional. The broken spear bound to her leg, holding it rigid. She stared at it, at his hands, at the way he'd tied the knots. "Your hands," she murmured, "too gentle for war." Ryan looked at her. "Yeah, well, I'm done with war." "Then why are you here?" "Because my ship crashed." "Before that, why come to this place?" He didn't answer. Outside, the voices were getting louder. The warrior tried to sit up, managed it this time, leaning heavily against the cave wall. She tested the splint, moving her legs slightly. Pain flashed across her face, but she didn't stop. "It will hold," she said, grudging, almost grateful. "Good. You are not a soldier." "No." "What then?" "A pilot. Was. Before." "Before what?" "Before I stopped caring what happened to me." She studied him in the dim light. Her expression was unreadable. "That," she said, "is a dangerous way to live." "Yeah, I noticed." The cliff trembled, subtle, a vibration in the stone beneath them, more felt than heard. The warrior's eyes widened. "They are climbing," she whispered. Ryan moved to the cave entrance and risked a glance outside. Below, the warriors had spread out across the canyon floor. Most were searching the dropship, but 3, no, 4, were scaling the cliff face, moving with practiced ease. They wore armor similar to the warriors but lighter, more flexible. Their skin was the same deep blue, but the patterns of scars were different. Individual, earned, and they were all carrying spears. Ryan pulled back into the shadows. "They're coming," he said. The warrior nodded. She was trying to stand, using the cave wall for support. The splint held, but her face went white. No, paler blue with the effort. "We cannot fight," she said. "I know. If they see me like this, I know. They will kill me. I know." She looked at him, really looked, searching for something. Doubt, maybe, or fear. She didn't find it. "You are very strange, Ryan Hale," she said. "Yeah, I get that a lot." The footsteps grew louder, closer. Ryan could hear breathing now, steady, controlled. Warriors who knew how to move in silence. The warrior gripped the cave wall tighter. Her knuckles went pale. "If they challenge me," she said, "you run." "Not happening. You do not understand. Our law—" "I don't care about your law." "You should. It is absolute." "Then it's stupid." She almost smiled. Almost. Then the first warrior appeared at the cave entrance. He was enormous, broader than the female warrior, his shoulders filling the narrow opening. His face was marked with the same ash-gray paint Ryan had seen on the climbers. 3 diagonal lines across each cheek. His spear was longer than hers had been. The blade serrated. His amber eyes swept the cave, landed on the female warrior. Widened. "Chief Lyra," he said. His voice was a rumble. "You live." She straightened. Somehow, despite the pain, she stood taller. "I live, Kale." His gaze dropped to her leg, to the splint, to the broken spear halves bound to her shin. His expression changed, hardened. "The spear of succession," he said. "It is broken." "Yes. Then by law?" "I know the law." More warriors appeared behind Kyle. 5, 6, 8. They crowded the cave entrance, staring. Ryan counted 10 total. All armed, all dangerous. One of them, younger than the others, his scars fewer and lighter, stepped forward. "A chief cannot stand," he said. "Not without the spear hole." Another voice. "The law is clear. She must yield, or be challenged." Lyra's jaw tightened. She didn't speak, didn't move. Kyle raised his spear. "Chief Lyra," he said formally, "I invoke the right of challenge. You are no longer fit to lead. Step aside or defend your rank." Lyra's breath came faster. Her weight shifted on the splinted leg, and she nearly fell. Ryan moved without thinking, reaching out to steady her. She grabbed his wrist, hard. "No," she whispered, but she was shaking. He could feel it through her grip, not from pain, from something deeper, older, fear. Ryan looked at the warriors, at their weapons, at the way they watched Lyra, not with respect, but with something colder. Calculation. They weren't going to help her. They were going to replace her, and Lyra knew it. She tried to step forward. Her leg buckled. She caught herself against the cave wall, gasping. The warriors murmured among themselves. Clicks and hisses Ryan's translator couldn't parse, but he understood the tone. Disappointment. Lyra opened her mouth to speak. Her voice cracked. She tried again. Nothing. The words wouldn't come. Ryan saw it then, the moment her armor cracked. Just for a second, the terror underneath the steel. She was going to die here, not from the crash, not from her injuries, from shame. And something in Ryan's chest twisted. He'd seen that look before, on other faces, other battlefields. People who'd reached the end of themselves and found nothing left to hold on to. He'd worn that look himself once, so he did the only thing he could think of, the human thing, the stupid thing, the kind thing. He reached out, and gently, softly, without thinking about what it might mean in a language he didn't speak, he patted the top of her head. His palm settled on her hair, warm, reassuring, protective. The gesture lasted maybe 2 seconds. Silence detonated across the cave like a physical force. Every warrior froze. Kyle's spear slipped from his fingers. It clattered on the stone floor. The sound echoed. One of the younger warriors whispered something. Ryan's translator caught fragments. Or touched, crest, claiming. Another voice louder. "He touched the chief's crest." The claiming gesture. Kyle's expression transformed from stone to something closer to horror. "She is no longer our leader," he breathed. Ryan's hand was still on Lyra's head. He felt her entire body go rigid beneath his touch. Slowly, carefully, he lowered his hand. Lyra turned to look at him. Her eyes were wide, shocked, and underneath that, something else, something Ryan couldn't name. "You," she whispered. "You idiot! What did I do?" "You didn't pat me." Her voice was barely audible. "You replaced me." Ryan's stomach dropped. "What?" But he already knew. The way the warriors were staring at him, the way they dropped their weapons. One by one, they fell to their knees. All 10 of them, armored and armed and deadly, kneeling before Ryan Hale in a cave carved by wind. Cal bowed his head. "By our law," he said, his voice steady despite the shock written across his face, "the one who touches the crest claims the mantle." "I didn't," Ryan started. "You did. I was just trying to help." "You did more than help." Lyra's voice was stronger now, clearer. "You changed everything." She took a step forward, away from the wall. Her weight shifted onto the splinted leg and she didn't fall. She stood before him, head level with his chest, looking up. "Do you understand what you've done?" she asked. "No." "You are our chief now." "That's insane. It is law." "I don't want what you want," she said, her voice dropping to something dangerously quiet. "Does not matter. You claim the rank. You wear the responsibility. Or you die." The warriors remained kneeling, silent, waiting. Ryan looked at them, at Lyra, at the broken spear still bound to her leg. "What if I refuse?" he asked. "Then they kill us both." "Both? I failed to maintain my rank. You claimed it and rejected the burden. We are both forfeit." Ryan's mind raced. This wasn't happening. This couldn't be happening. He'd just been trying to... What? Comfort her? Reassure her? And now he was apparently their leader. "This is the dumbest law I've ever heard," he said. "Yes," Lyra agreed. "It is. Why didn't you warn me?" "I did not think you would be stupid enough to touch my head." "I was trying to help." "I know." And for the first time, her expression softened. Just slightly. "I know." Cal spoke again, his voice formal. "Chief Ryan Hale, what are your orders?" Ryan stared at him, at the other warriors, at Lyra, who was watching him with something that might have been amusement, or might have been respect, or might have been both. He swallowed. "I need a minute." "We do not have a minute," Lyra said. She gestured outside. Our clan numbers over 200. When word spreads that the spear is broken and a new chief has claimed rank, what happens? Chaos. Every warrior with ambition will challenge you. Every elder with tradition in their blood will demand proof of your right. You will have to defend your claim. How? Combat, strategy, wisdom, whatever they demand. And if I lose, death. For you, for me, for anyone who supported your claim. Ryan looked at the warriors kneeling before him. They were still waiting, patient, deadly. "Why aren't they challenging me now?" he asked. "Because you claimed rank in the traditional way. They witnessed it. To challenge you before you've been presented to the clan council would be to reject the law itself." "But I don't know your law." "You will learn. And if I don't learn fast enough?" Lyra stepped closer. Her hand found his wrist, the same one she'd grabbed before, and her grip was iron. "Then you improvise," she said. "Humans are good at that, yes?" "Sometimes." "Then be good now." Cal rose to his feet. The other warriors followed. They formed a loose circle around Ryan and Lyra, weapons lowered but ready. "We return to the settlement," Cal said. "The council must be informed." "No," Lyra said. Everyone looked at her. "My leg is fractured," she continued. "The chief," she gestured to Ryan, "is injured from the crash. We need time to recover before facing the council." "The law requires immediate presentation," another warrior said. Female, shorter than Lyra, but with twice as many scars. "The law," Lyra said calmly, "also requires the chief be physically capable of defending their claim. Would you have him face the council, unable to stand?" Silence. The female warrior considered this. "How long?" 3 days. 2. Lyra glanced at Ryan. He nodded slightly. 2 days, Lyra agreed. Cal shifted his weight. "The council will not be pleased." "The council is never pleased." Lyra's voice carried an edge Ryan hadn't heard before. Bitterness. If they hear too soon, they'll cut our days in half. They will wait. And if they demand immediate presentation, then they break their own law. Let them explain that to the ancestors. Kyle's expression remained neutral, but Ryan caught something in his eyes. Approval, maybe, or respect. 2 days, Kyle said finally. He turned to the other warriors. We establish camp at the crash site. Guard the perimeter. No one approaches without my permission. The warriors moved as one, flowing out of the cave with practiced efficiency. Within seconds, Ryan and Lyra were alone again. She sagged against the cave wall, the strength draining out of her like water through a cracked dam. You should not have touched me, she said quietly. I know. Now you are responsible for an entire clan. I know. You will probably die within the week. Yeah, probably. She looked at him. Her amber eyes were dim with exhaustion and pain, but underneath it, something else, something softer. Why did you do it? She asked. Ryan thought about that, about the moment his hand had moved, about the instinct that had driven it. You were scared, Hussein, he said finally. I've been that scared. I know what it looks like, and I couldn't let you face it alone. Lyra was quiet for a long moment. That, she said, is the most foolish and most honorable thing I have ever heard. Is that good or bad? I do not know yet. She pushed herself upright, testing the splinted leg again. This time she managed a few steps before the pain forced her to stop. We have 2 days, she said, to teach you enough to survive. Teach me what? Everything. Our history, our law, how to lead without being killed, how to speak without insulting the ancestors, how to fight if diplomacy fails. Ryan rubbed his face. His head was pounding. That's a lot for 2 days. Yes. What if I can't learn it all? Lyra smiled. It was the first real smile he'd seen from her, sharp and dangerous and somehow reassuring. Then we improvised, she said. Outside, the warriors were setting up camp. Ryan could hear them moving around the crash site, erecting shelters, starting fires. Normal sounds, domestic almost. But underneath it, tension. He could feel it even from here. The weight of what he'd done, what he'd accidentally claimed, pressing down on him like atmosphere. Lyra moved to the cave entrance. She stood there silhouetted against the pale green sky, her weight balanced carefully on her good leg. Ryan, hail, she said without turning around. Yeah? Thank you. For what? For being stupid enough to help me. He joined her at the entrance. Together they looked out at the canyon, at the crash site, at the warriors moving below. You're welcome, he said. She glanced at him sidelong. Do not make a habit of it. Which part? Any of it. No promises. They stood there in silence as the alien sun, singular, he noted with relief, began its slow descent toward the canyon rim. The light turned amber, then red, casting long shadows across the broken hull of the drop ship. Somewhere in the distance, a horn sounded. Once, long and low. Lyra tensed. What does that mean? Ryan asked. It means word is spreading. The clan knows something has happened. They will be gathering. How long before they come looking? 2 days if we are fortunate. And if we're not, less. Ryan watched the warriors below. They moved with purpose, every action precise and efficient. These were people who knew violence intimately, who lived with it as a constant companion, and he was supposed to lead them. I'm going to screw this up, he said. Probably. I might get us both killed. Very likely. Then why are you helping me? Lyra turned to face him fully. Her expression was serious, all trace of humor gone. Because you helped me, she said simply, without question, without hesitation, without asking for anything in return. That's just basic decency. Not here. Here, everything has cost. Every action demands payment. Every gesture of weakness invites death. She paused. You did not know that. You acted anyway, that is. She searched for the word. Rare. Sounds lonely. It is. They held each other's gaze for a moment. Ryan saw the weight she carried, had carried alone for how long? Years? Decades? Written in every scar, every hard line around her eyes. I'm sorry I took your rank, he said. You did not take it. I lost it. You simply caught it before it fell. Still, no. She shook her head. Do not apologize for being kind. It is the only thing about you that might keep us alive. Below, Cal was approaching the cave. He moved deliberately, giving them time to see him coming. Polite, respectful. He stopped at the entrance and bowed his head. Chief, he said, addressing Ryan, the camp is secure. We have supplies from the dropship, food, water, medical materials. Good, thank you. Cale's expression flickered. Surprise, maybe. You thank me? Yeah, why wouldn't I? Another flicker. This one harder to read. Chiefs do not thank warriors for doing their duty, Lyra explained quietly. That's stupid. Many of our customs seem stupid to outsiders. No, it's just stupid. Kyle's lips twitched, almost a smile. The chief is direct. The chief is exhausted, Ryan said, and confused, and probably concussed. So if I do something wrong, someone needs to tell me. Now Cale did smile, small but genuine. I will remember that, Chief. He withdrew, leaving them alone again. Lyra limped deeper into the cave, searching for a place to sit. She found a relatively flat section of stone and lowered herself carefully, the splinted leg extended in front of her. Ryan joined her, sitting close enough to help if she needed it, but not so close as to crowd her. Tell me about the claiming gesture, he said. Lyra leaned back against the cave wall, exhaustion written across her features. It is ancient, she said, older than our written history. When two warriors fought for leadership, the victor would touch the loser's crest, the highest point of their head, to claim dominance. Over time, it evolved. Now it is used only in succession. When a chief chooses their heir, they touch the crest in a public ceremony. It transfers rank. But I didn't choose. Intent does not matter, only the act. That's stupid. Yes, you have said. Ryan ran his hands through his hair. What happens if I just walk away, leave the planet, go home? You have no ship. I'll find one. And abandon the rank you claimed? Abandon me? He looked at her. Would that get you killed? Yes. Then I guess I'm not leaving. She studied him in the dim light. You are very strange, Ryan Hale. You keep saying that, because it continues to be true. Outside, the light was fading fast. The canyon filled with shadows. Ryan could see the warriors moving around cook fires, their silhouettes dancing against the rock walls. Tell me about the council, he said. Lyra sighed. There are 7 elders. Each represents a different aspect of our society. War, agriculture, trade, medicine, law, history, spirituality. Which one's going to be the biggest problem? All of them. Great. They are old, traditional. They do not like change. And you, she gestured at him, are change embodied. Because I'm human? Because you are not one of us. Because you claimed rank through accident rather than strength. Because you ask questions instead of giving commands? Those sound like good things. To you, to them, they are weakness. Ryan absorbed that. How do I prove I'm not weak? You do not. You prove you are strong in different ways. Like, Lyra thought for a moment, when facing the council, they will test you. Questions, challenges, trials of knowledge or strength. You cannot answer all of them. You are too new, but you can answer some. And for the others, she met his eyes. Well, you can be honest. Admit what you do not know. Ask for guidance. They will respect that more than false confidence. You sure about that? No, but it is the best strategy we have. The night deepened. One of the warriors brought food, some kind of dried meat and a water skin. Lyra ate slowly, methodically. Ryan forced himself to do the same, though his stomach was twisted into knots. When they finished, Lyra shifted position, trying to find comfort against the unyielding stone. Tell me about you, Ryan said. She glanced at him. Why? Because if I'm going to lead your people, I should know something about them, starting with you. I am not important. You were chief. That makes you important. Was chief, she corrected. Past tense. You're still important. She was quiet for a long time. Then, I became chief at 17 cycles. Our years are longer than yours, roughly equivalent to 23 human years. My mother was chief before me. She died defending the northern border from raiders. The spear passed to me. I'm sorry. Do not be. She died with honor. That is all any of us can ask. How long were you, Chief? 12 cycles, longer than most. She paused. I was good at it. Not perfect, but good. What happened? Before the crash? We were attacked. Off-world raiders like you, but worse. They wanted our ore deposits. We fought back. Their ship fired on our settlement. I called for evacuation. Your drop ship was passing through the sector. I commandeered it. You hijacked my ship? I saved your life. The raiders would have shot you down anyway. And then we crashed. Yes. Because you were being chased. Yes. Ryan processed that. So technically, this is your fault. Yes. And now I'm chief because I tried to help you. Also yes. This is the weirdest day of my life. It is not over yet. A sound outside made them both freeze. Footsteps. Multiple sets. Moving fast. Kale appeared at the cave entrance, his expression grim. Chief, we have a problem. Ryan stood. What kind? Scouts from the main settlement. They arrived faster than expected. They demand to see the new chief immediately. Lyra cursed in her own language. How many? 3. But they carry the council's banner. We cannot refuse them. Ryan looked at Lyra. She was already struggling to her feet, wincing with every movement. It is too soon, she said. You are not ready. Then we stall. We cannot. The council does not like delays. Even if I'm injured, they will see it as weakness. Ryan's mind raced. Then I meet them. Now. Tonight. Ryan. What choice do we have? She had no answer. Cal led them out of the cave. Ryan helped Lyra down the cliff path, taking most of her weight. The warriors at the camp had formed a loose perimeter around 3 new arrivals. The scouts were older than the warriors, grizzled, scarred, their armor weathered and dark. They stood with absolute stillness, watching Ryan's approach with eyes that revealed nothing. The center scout stepped forward, female, tall even by their standards, easily matching Kale's height. Her face was a map of old battles, one ear missing entirely, her jaw slightly crooked from a break that had healed wrong. I am Vera, she said. Her voice was like gravel grinding. First, scout of the council. I speak with their voice. Ryan released Lyra carefully, making sure she was stable. He stepped forward, aware that every warrior was watching. I'm Ryan Hale, the new chief. Vera's eyes flickered to Lyra, to the splinted leg, to the broken spear still bound to her shin. The spear of succession, Vera said. It is destroyed. Yes. And you claimed rank through the gesture. I did. You are human. I am. You have no blood tie to our people. No. Vera circled him slowly, evaluating. Ryan forced himself to stand still, to meet her gaze without flinching. She stopped directly in front of him. Her eyes held something he couldn't quite read. I watched you, she said quietly. Too quiet for the other warriors to hear. From the ridge, when you lifted the beam, when you touched her crest. Ryan's pulse quickened. You did not know what it meant, Vera continued, but you did it anyway. That is either profound foolishness or profound courage. She paused. I have not decided which. Does it matter? Ryan asked. To the council? No. To me? Another pause. Perhaps. She stepped back, her voice returning to its formal tone. The council is concerned, Vera said. I understand. Do you? You claim rank over a people you do not know, following laws you do not understand, leading warriors you have never met. That's accurate. It is unprecedented. Yes, it may be illegal. Ryan felt his stomach clench. According to what law? Vera stopped circling. That is what the council will determine. And if they determine it is illegal, then your claim is void. Chief Lyra's failure stands without succession. The rank reverts to the council until a new chief is chosen by trial. And what happens to me? Vera's expression didn't change. You are executed for falsely claiming rank. Chief Lyra is executed for failing to maintain succession. The words hung in the air like poison. Ryan felt his pulse hammering. When does the council meet? Tomorrow, midday. You will present yourself for judgment. I need more time. The law does not grant more time. The law also says chiefs must be physically capable of defending their claim. I was in a crash. I need to recover. Vera's eyes narrowed. You seem capable now. Looks can be deceiving. Indeed they can. She stepped closer. Tell me, Ryan Hale, why should the council accept you? Because I claim rank according to your law. Laws can be interpreted. Then let them interpret. But until they rule otherwise, I am chief. Silence. The warriors around them were motionless, waiting. Vera studied Ryan for a long moment. Then slowly, deliberately, she bowed her head. Just slightly. Not submission, acknowledgement. You have more spine than expected, she said. That is good. You will need it. She turned to leave, the other scouts falling in beside her. Vara, Lyra said. The scout stopped, turned. The council will try to rule against him, Lyra continued. You know they will. He is too different, too foreign. Perhaps. Tell them this. Ryan Hale saved my life when he had no reason to. He showed kindness when he could have shown indifference. That is not weakness. That is strength of a kind we have forgotten. Vera considered this. I will convey your words, but I make no promises. I ask for none. The scouts disappeared into the darkness. Ryan released a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Well, he said, that could have gone worse. It will go worse tomorrow, Lyra said. Cheerful. Realistic. Kyle approached. Chief, you should rest. Tomorrow will be a nightmare. Yeah, I gathered. They returned to the cave. Lyra was limping badly now, the brief walk having aggravated her injury. Ryan helped her sit, then collapsed beside her. Tell me about the council, he said. Everything. Don't leave anything out. She did. For hours, while the camp settled into uneasy sleep outside, Lyra spoke about the 7 elders, their personalities, their prejudices, their power. She taught him phrases in her language, made him repeat them until his pronunciation was acceptable. She explained the formal protocols, the ritual gestures, the 1,000 unspoken rules that governed every interaction. Ryan absorbed it all, knowing it wasn't enough. Could never be enough. Finally, deep into the night, Lyra's voice faltered. I am tired, she admitted. Sleep. I'll keep watch. You need rest too. I'm too wired to sleep. Outside voices rose, sharp, angry. Ryan tensed, listening. Get us all killed, someone was saying. One of the warriors. An off-worlder. As chief, another voice calmer. Kale supports him. Kale should take the rank by force. He was next in line. He earned it. That is not our way. Our way is broken if a human can claim. The voices faded as the speakers moved further from the cave. Ryan looked at Lyra. Her eyes were open now, staring at the cave ceiling. They are not wrong, she said quietly. About me getting everyone killed? About the clan being divided. Half will follow you out of respect for the law. Half will see you as an insult to tradition. Great odds. They are the only odds you have. She shifted position, trying to get comfortable. Ryan? Yeah? Whatever happens tomorrow, thank you for trying. Don't say goodbye yet. We might survive this. Might. That's all we've got. She smiled faintly. Then it will have to be enough. She closed her eyes. Within minutes, her breathing deepened into sleep. Ryan sat watching the cave entrance, the alien stars visible beyond, and wondered how the hell he'd ended up here, running from one disaster straight into another. It was almost funny. Almost. Dawn came fast. The pale green sky brightened gradually, the shadows retreating from the canyon walls. Ryan had dozed intermittently, jerking awake at every sound. Lyra woke stiff and sore. Her leg had swollen further overnight despite the splint. She didn't complain, but Ryan saw the pain written across her face. Kale brought food, more dried meat, and something that looked like bread, but tasted like cardboard mixed with dirt. Ryan forced it down. The council has sent word, Kale said. The meeting will be held at the settlement. We leave within the hour. How far? Ryan asked. 3 kilometers, rough terrain. Ryan looked at Lyra. Can you make it? I have no choice. I'll carry you. You will not. A chief does not arrive being carried. A former chief. I am still Qatar. I walk or I die trying. Her tone left no room for argument. They broke camp quickly. The warriors moved with practiced efficiency, erasing all signs of their presence. Within 30 minutes, they were ready. The journey was brutal. The terrain was exactly as Kale described. Loose scree, sharp rocks, steep inclines. Lyra managed the first kilometer through sheer stubbornness, leaning heavily on a makeshift crutch one of the warriors had fashioned from salvaged metal. By the second kilometer, she was stumbling. Ryan moved beside her without a word, offering his shoulder. She took it, her pride finally breaking under the reality of her injury. "Do not tell anyone about this," she muttered. "About what?" A ghost of a smile. "Thank you." They crested a ridge and the settlement came into view. It wasn't what Ryan expected. No sprawling city, no advanced technology. Just a collection of structures built into the canyon walls. Homes carved from living rock. Terraces cut into the cliff faces, connected by rope bridges and narrow paths. Smoke rose from cooking fires. Children played in the open spaces, their laughter carrying on the thin air. It looked peaceful, almost idyllic. Then Ryan saw the gathering. In the center of the settlement, a large amphitheater had been carved from the rock. Hundreds of Qatar filled the seats. Warriors, families, elders, all watching, all waiting. "They know we are coming," Lyra said quietly. "How many?" "The entire clan, perhaps more. Other clans may have sent representatives. To watch me fail. To watch history, one way or another." They descended into the settlement. Warriors lined their path, silent and watching. Children stopped playing to stare. Elders emerged from their homes, faces grave. Kyle led them to the amphitheater entrance. 7 figures sat in elevated seats facing the open floor. The council. Vera stood beside them, her expression neutral. "Chief Ryan Hale," she called out, her voice carrying across the space. "You stand before the Council of Elders. Present yourself." Ryan stepped forward. Lyra moved with him, refusing to be left behind. The crowd murmured. Hundreds of voices creating a sound like distant thunder. The center elder rose. Ancient, his skin so dark it was almost purple, his scars like rivers across exposed flesh. When he spoke, the crowd fell silent. "I am Elder Korth. I speak for war." He gestured to the others. "My brothers and sisters speak for agriculture, trade, medicine, law, history, and spirituality. Together we are the voice of the Qatar." Ryan inclined his head. "I hear you. You claim rank of chief." "I do. By what right?" "By the claiming gesture, witnessed by warriors, performed according to law." "The law," Korth said slowly, "was written for Qatar, not humans. The law makes no distinction of species." A different elder rose. Female. Older even than Korth, if that was possible. Her voice was softer, but no less powerful. "I am Elder Shira. I speak for law." She fixed Ryan with eyes that seemed to see through him. "You are correct. The written law makes no distinction. But the spirit of the law assumes those who claim rank understand our ways, our values, our history. Then teach me. It takes years to learn what you need to know." "Then I'll learn fast." Shira's lips twitched, almost a smile. "Confidence. That is good, but insufficient." A third elder stood, male, broader than the others, his armor still showing signs of recent use. "I am Elder Varric. I speak for trade." He leaned forward. "You arrive in a crashed ship. You bring nothing. You offer nothing. What benefit does your leadership provide?" "Survival," Ryan said, elaborate. "I kept Chief Lyra alive when your warriors would have killed her for weakness. I stabilized her injury when she would have died from pride. I claimed rank when tradition would have left your people leaderless." He paused. "I offer a different kind of strength. Not better, just different." The crowd murmured. Varric sat down slowly, his expression thoughtful. Elder Korth rose again. "You speak well, but words are insufficient. We must see strength, not words, action." "What kind of action?" "Proof that you can lead, that you deserve the rank you claim." Lyra stepped forward, her movement awkward on the splinted leg but determined. "Elders," she said, her voice carrying, "I invoke the right of testimony." Silence, absolute and total. Elder Shira's eyes widened slightly. "That is unusual, but legal." "Yes, legal." Shira nodded slowly. "Speak, former chief. We listen." Lyra took a breath. "I led this clan for 12 cycles. I defended our borders. I negotiated peace with neighboring clans. I maintained the spear of succession without break. Until now, Korth said. Until now, Lyra agreed. The spear broke in the crash. My failure. My shame. I accept that. Then why defend the one who claimed your rank? Because he earned it. She turned to face the crowd. When I was trapped, he freed me. When I could not walk, he carried me. When warriors came to challenge me, he stood beside me. She gestured to her splinted leg. He bound my broken spear to my leg so I could stand before you. Without him, you would see only a fallen chief. With him, you see a clan still standing. The crowd murmured louder now. He knew nothing of our law, nothing of our ways, Lyra continued, but he knew kindness. He knew loyalty. He knew honor. Her voice strengthened. These are not human traits or Qatar traits. They are universal, and they are what we need in a chief. The crowd was silent. Ryan could feel hundreds of eyes on him, evaluating, judging. Elder Korth stood. A moving testimony, but testimony is not proof. We require a trial. What kind of trial? Ryan asked. The trial of 3. You will face 3 challenges: physical, mental, spiritual. Success proves your worth. Failure proves your inadequacy. And if I fail, death. For you, for anyone who supported your claim. Ryan felt his stomach drop. He looked at Lyra. She met his gaze steadily, no fear visible. I accept, he said. The trial begins immediately. Warriors moved into the amphitheater, clearing space. The crowd leaned forward, eager. Elder Varric stood. The first challenge, physical strength. He gestured. You will face Kale in single combat. Unarmed, first blood wins. Kyle stepped forward from the crowd. His expression was apologetic but determined. Lyra leaned close to Ryan, her voice barely a whisper. Cal was to be my successor. If you fall, the rank passes to him. Ryan's eyes widened slightly. He looked at Kale with new understanding. Kale met his gaze. Something passed between them. An acknowledgement. I am sorry, Chief, Kale said quietly, but I cannot refuse the council. I know. It's okay. They moved to opposite sides of the cleared space. An elder Ryan didn't recognize marked the boundaries with chalk. Begin, Korth commanded. Cal moved first, fast, faster than Ryan expected. A blur of blue skin and muscle, closing the distance in 2 strides. Ryan dodged left, barely. Kale's fist passed inches from his face. The crowd roared. Ryan backpedaled, trying to create distance. Kale pressed forward relentlessly. Another punch, another dodge. Ryan felt the wind from the impact. He was outmatched, completely. Cal was stronger, faster, better trained. Ryan needed to change the game. He stopped dodging, let Kyle come in, waited until the last possible second, then dropped low and swept Kyle's legs. Cal went down hard. The crowd gasped. But Cal rolled, came up fast, grabbed Ryan's arm and twisted. Pain shot up Ryan's shoulder. He rolled with the momentum, broke the grip, came up facing Cal. They circled each other. Cal's eyes showed respect now. You are better than expected. Thanks, you're worse than I feared. A flash of humor crossed Cal's face. Then he attacked again. This time Ryan met him head on. They grappled, strength against strength. Ryan knew he couldn't win this way. He shifted his weight, used Cal's momentum against him, threw him off balance. Not enough. Cal recovered too fast. They broke apart, both breathing hard. Ryan's mind raced. He needed an advantage, something Cal wouldn't expect. Then he saw it. The way Cal favored his left side. An old injury, maybe. Healed but not forgotten. Ryan feinted right. Cal moved to block. Ryan pivoted left, got inside Cal's guard, drove his elbow into that weak point. Cal grunted, stumbled. Ryan didn't press the advantage. Instead, he stepped back, hands raised. Yield, he said. The crowd fell silent. Kyle stared at him. What? Yield, you're hurt. I won't keep fighting. You are giving me mercy? I'm giving you respect. You're my warrior. I don't need to beat you bloody to prove that. Cal's expression transformed. Shock, disbelief, then something else. Something like loyalty. He dropped to one knee. I yield, he said clearly. The chief has won. The crowd erupted, some shouting approval, others outrage. The elders conferred quietly among themselves. Elder Korth raised his hand. Silence returned. Unconventional, he said, but acceptable. The physical challenge is complete, he paused. The mental challenge begins now.